is there some part of you that regrets that the chess community, and you included, implied that Hans cheated early on? And I think without having evidence and that kind of thing, as we learn now, can stick, right? And it kind of divided the chess community in part, but like, I mean, I guess I do want to empathize from your position. Can you empathize with Hans that his reputation is essentially in part or in whole destroyed at this point?
Yes, I absolutely can. Again, I think it comes down to the specifics of how it was handled. Now, as far as I go, I was covering the news. And this is what makes it so difficult for me versus, say, some of the other content creators, is that I do, in a sense, have that inside knowledge. You know, again, this is also not really public knowledge, but when I went to St. Louis to play this Rapid and Blitz tournament before the Sinkfield Cup happened, where Magnus and Hans were playing, there were people who told me very specifically that they thought he was cheating. Other players in the event, they even gave me like actual theories about like things in his shoes, things of this nature.
Yeah.
So I'm in a very awkward spot there as well, because I know why. I mean, I was like 99% sure why Magnus dropped out. It would have come out regardless, though. It would have come out no matter what, because Magnus was not going to back down on his stance about Hans, and others would have brought it up anyways. So it's very tough. I think if you want to look for blame, I think probably it would be on chess.com ultimately, because they were the ones who probably could have nipped all of this in the bud at a much earlier stage, and it wouldn't have gotten to where it got to.
Because they could have released the online cheating, and that would have...
I think they could have released that. I think also they could have probably not let him play after it happened the second time as well, because it seems like it happened like, I think it was like at least like 4 or 5 different times. I haven't looked very, very closely at that, but it wasn't just an isolated incident. And so I think if there is blame for that, it's definitely on chess.com, which should stop people from thinking that that I'm in some way influenced by.
Yeah, are you biased because are you supported in part by chess.com?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So does that affect your bias?
No, it doesn't. I'm actually quite independent of them. One thing that's interesting to note is that a lot of people are under the assumption that when I do like broadcasts of tournaments or things of this nature, that chess.com is actively helping me. They are not helping me. I'm an independent contractor, and so my opinions are my own. And there are no lists given to me about like cheaters, anything of this nature. That has always been completely separate.
Do they have compromising video of you that forces you to if you don't follow the main narrative, that they will release that video publicly?
No, they definitely don't.
All right.
But yeah, I think when I look at it all, I feel like if people are looking for someone to blame, I don't think it's actually Magnus at the end of the day. I think it's on chess.com very squarely for not handling it sooner.
So you're okay with like Magnus being silent for long periods of time?
Well, I don't know why Magnus is still silent, because my read of the situation was that there was some sort of NDA or there was some information that chess.com had that was they could not release. And so my read of it was Magnus was essentially saying the same thing chess.com said, where like, I can't say anything about it because of whatever or whatnot. But then chess.com releases what I perceive to be the stuff that they could not talk about anyway, and Magnus still isn't saying anything. So I don't really understand why Magnus has not said anything further on.
There could be legal implications of accusing somebody of cheating over the board. That could be like lawsuits that he just doesn't want the headaches. He just wants to focus on the game and have fun playing the game and not get bogged down into lawyers and all that kind of bullshit.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. But Magnus could also take the other route and just say, well, he cheated online in 100 games. Like, I'm not going to play against a cheater. That's very easy to say. That's factual. It's proven. And that doesn't have to go into the speculation of over the board. So I find it a little bit odd that Magnus hasn't said anything further. At the same time, it's also kind of peculiar because Magnus's reputation is also kind of in tatters in a sense. Like, a lot of people are not happy with him for what he's done. But still, he goes and plays this tournament in this European Club Cup tournament, and he's just gaining like 10 points as though nothing has happened. So I mean, I don't really know where Magnus's head is at, because like, if I was in that situation and everyone's coming after me for making such an accusation, I don't think there's any way I would be able to play chess anywhere near the level that Magnus is playing at. So the whole situation is, it's very strange.
Yeah. I wonder where his mind is at that he's able to play at that level.